Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Vincent. I'm the Training and Compliance Coordinator at ATSU. I'd like to thank you first for coming and joining with us for this edition of the Supervisory Experience. And today we're going to cover some topics that are pretty practical, but they're going to be incredibly helpful for you as supervisors and as people who help manage some of our other human assets at the university. Nobody denies that we have one of the best benefits packages that any institution offers anywhere. It's something that we work very hard to achieve and make sure it stays competitive nationwide. But with that, especially when it comes to taking paid time off or dealing with absences with our employees, it's important that we do a good job of working with human resources to make sure that all of those things are tracked and documented appropriately. And so today we have with us our Director of Payroll for ATSU, Mary Carter. She's been with the university for 9 years. She knows everything. And she's going to share with us today some of the resources that are available for you to use when it comes to time off. And where you can find those, and maybe some information that you should know as a supervisor that will help smooth those transactions as they occur in the workplace. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mary, and you can get us started.
Thank you, Joe. Today I'm going to speak about paid time off. Can you hear me, Joe?
I can, yeah.
Sorry. All paid time off is tracked in payroll, which is part of human resources. We want to make sure that supervisors have the information that they need and know where to find the forms and the policies on our website. Please feel free to ask questions during this presentation, but do not use employee names. We want to make sure that we keep everything confidential. We don't want to say anything on a broadcast that other people can hear that we shouldn't. Those questions can be brought to our attention after the presentation. You can email me, call me, and I'll be glad to answer those. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see my PowerPoint, and we're going to get started. First of all, we want everybody to know how to get to the ATSU portal. I've put the web address on here, and you just put in your username and password, and this is going to be your network username and password. You go to Departments, and then HR, and HR Home. You'll sign in through AT Still University. There's a little page that pops up, and you just click on that. And this will bring you to the welcome page where you can navigate to find the forms and policies. This is what the welcome page looks like. In the center of it, under Welcome, there's a tab that says Payroll Information. From here, you can go and get any form that you're going to see today, and there's going to be a lot of other forms under there too. But that's the only place you have to go, and they will come up. Most of them are fillable forms now, and we have electronic signatures on a lot of them, and we're trying to incorporate more of that. For the policies, you would just go to the left-hand side under Laws and Policies, and Human Resource Policies is where you're going to find the policies we're going to talk about today for vacation, medical, etc. Another good resource is underneath that in Management and Training Resources are your handbooks. That's the ATS staff books there plus the faculty books. For vacation, for hourly employees, the policy number is 90-309. Vacation for hourly employees is accrued for the length of time that you're employed. During the first 2 years, an hourly employee will accrue 3.08 hours each pay period. What this adds up to is 80 hours in the first year. During years 3 through 9, this changes to 4.62 hours per pay period, which would be 120 hours. Once you've passed that 9-mile stone, that 9-year milestone, you will have, sound like I was going to make you walk, 6.15 hours per pay period. Employees are not eligible to take vacation benefits the first 90 days of full-time employment, but they do accrue at this time. So once your 90 days is passed, you will have some vacation time in your bank to use. You can't use time before you earn it. You're not allowed to go into a negative balances, and it must be approved by your supervisor. Supervisors' responsibilities include making sure that your employee has the time to take before you accrue it or before you approve it. If they haven't got the accruals, then it should not be approved. Human Resources does do all the tracking. It is recorded on time cards for hourly employees. Now for salary non-contractual employees, it's accrued a little different. It's per monthly. It's 13.33 hours per month. And again, you can't use it during the first 90 days, but you can accrue it. So by the end of the 3 months, you've got right at 40 hours of vacation. There are forms to fill out, and I'm going to show those to you. And to give your supervisor when you want to request vacation. Faculty contractual employees are different. They do not have the 90-day waiting period. They still have to have their supervisor approve the time off, but you do not have to wait your 90 days, and you do get your full accrual for your contract up front. If you don't start on July 1st, it is prorated. So points to remember are you have a 90-day waiting period for all hourly employees and salary non-contractual. Supervisors need to ensure employees have time available before granting the time off. A maximum bank for any employee is 2 years of accrual, so it depends on what you accrue, how much you can bank. After you've hit the top of your bank, it does not accrue until you use some. Vacation will only be paid out upon termination. You can't forfeit a week of vacation just to take the extra pay. Maximum vacation payout is 1 year of accruals. That policy number is on 90-322, and that is only upon termination. Contractual employees can carry over a maximum of 1 year accrual each June 30th, since they receive their full accrual on July 1st. This is important for all our faculty members to remember, because where they get their accrual on July 1st, we don't want them to lose out on any of their vacation time. ATSU does encourage employees to use their vacation time so they can kind of regenerate and take a little bit of relaxation, but it does need to be scheduled with the supervisor. Our vacation forms consist of the request for leave form. This is a form that you may or may not use in your department. A lot of hourly employees are not required to fill this form out. That depends on the supervisor. You can. It's not a wrong thing to do for anybody. This does not get sent to payroll. This is just for the supervisor. This makes it easier for them to schedule in their department, to make sure there's coverage, to make sure that they're treating every employee as fair as they can for the time off when they need it and when there's coverage for that job. These forms are electronic. It does make it a little simpler. Once in a while they don't work. We'll be glad to reset them. If they don't, just let us know. But we are trying to get to where we have more of the digital signatures.
Hey, Mary, we do have a question that came in just now. How do we ensure that the employee has time accrued before we approve vacation?
Okay, that's a very good question. On our website, we have a shortcut that will show you, as each employee, their vacation balances. Also on that same page, if you are a supervisor, there is a little plus sign to your left right under your balance that will have, when you click on it, it will have your drop down of everybody you supervise and all their amounts that they have to date. Hourlies are real-time accruals. Your salary amounts are always the month behind. But a supervisor can at any time go ahead and sign into the portal, go to HR, and then go to HR vacation and medical. And they'll see, like I said, their own balance at the top, but to the left there's a little plus sign. When they click on it, if you're a supervisor, you will have your complete list of people.
Excellent. Thank you. I hope that answered your question. If you have a follow-up, do be sure to send that so we can make sure we get you what you need.
Okay, the next form is our salary and faculty form for vacation and medical usage. This is a new form we just rolled out this year. It is digitally signed, which is very nice. It makes it easy for everybody to read, and including the auditors. You just select the month and year, put in your vacation or medical usage. It will figure it for you. So once you put the 8 hours in the column, the total will show up. You sign this as the employee. They should send it to you as the supervisor, and then it's sent to payroll when it has the supervisor's signature. For hourly employees, it's a little different. Their vacation is, and medical time, any of their time off, is put on their actual time card. They have drop-down boxes where you can choose a V for vacation, MP for medical paid time. There is a list on the time card in the body of the time card that says what all the codes mean. So when you go into the little box that has the dashes under Monday, it will give you a list of these codes. That way you know what you're choosing. Again, it will total the hours for you, and the employee signs it, sends it to the signature for the supervisor to sign it, and then it's sent to payroll. Did we have any more questions on vacation, Joe?
I don't see any yet, Mary. It is a good point to say for anybody who's watching right now live, you do have the potential to ask any question about any of the information that Mary's covered so far. Do feel free to do that, and we'll try to pause and get to that question immediately while we're still on that subject. It looks like we're moving to medical benefits right now, but if any of the information that we covered so far was unclear or you have questions, do be sure to submit those. But it looks like we're good to go ahead for right now, Mary.
Okay, before I move on to the medical, I just want to touch on the amounts for the vacation can be prorated. Most of our employees are 1.0 FTEs. They're full-time equivalent. They get full-time benefits. But we do have a few that are a 0.75, a 0.80, or a 0.90. So if you are less than a 1.0, we do prorate that. So that it is a different amount. But if anybody has questions on that, they can get with me, and I will be glad to explain that.
Excellent.
Okay, on our paid medical time, we have changed this policy, and it's really still not available on our website yet, but it's getting close. But what we've done is we've added the hourly and the salary and the faculty all together on one policy. The policy for this is 90-312. Again, all regular full-time employees will start accumulating the leave upon being hired. You cannot use it for the first 90 days if you're an hourly or a salaried individual. If you are a faculty where you have a contract, then this does not apply to you. The hourly is going to accrue per pay period and an amount of 3.08 hours per pay period. This amount does not change throughout your time at ATSU. If you're an hourly employee, this is what you're going to get every pay period. There is a policy to where you get a sick buyback if you've got enough in your bank, if you're an hourly employee only. Once you hit 240 hours of medical time, you can accrue up to 320. What the sick buyback is for hourly employees is that anything in your anniversary month, say your anniversary month is June, you've got 260 hours, that 20 hours over your 240 will be paid at halftime, and your bank will be set back at 240. That way, you will always have a minimum of 240 if you don't use it, but you will not just get to 320 and quit accruing. So there is a sick buyback that is a little bit of a benefit for an hourly employee, and we do have several that take advantage of that every month or every year. So it is a nice little thing if you're not sick and don't have to use it, that you can get that. And on paid time off, medical or vacation in this instance, you can't use it to get more than your regular scheduled day. So if you come in and work 4 hours and then take off for a medical reason or vacation, either one, it will work the same. You can't put down 8 hours and get paid for 12 hours. It still just fills up your day. And in the event an employee must be out on medical leave for 5 consecutive working days or more, then we need a physician statement to return to work. Human Resources should be notified by the supervisor anytime an employee is gone 5 days for medical in a row. This is to ensure that if it's applicable, FMLA paperwork can be given to that employee. So points to remember in the medical is the 90-day waiting period for all hourly and salaried non-contractual employees. Supervisors are to ensure employees have time available before granting time off. Now, you can't always know when somebody's going to be sick, but you will know if you're going to have a dentist appointment or if you're going to have an eye appointment. So an employee should have already checked, but it is up for the supervisor, it is up to them to make sure that the time is available. Supervisors are to notify Human Resources for any employee out 5 or more consecutive days for medical reasons, so the proper FMLA notification can be given to the employee if applicable. Accruals for hourly employees do not change, but they do have the option for sick buyback if their bank gets over 240 hours. And like I said, we have several employees that take advantage of that every year, and it is a very nice benefit. Salary employees, they get their accrual for vacation. They get it January 1st. They get the whole year's accrual. So they do not have a sick buyback policy at all because they get 240 hours on January 1st, and after December 31st, it resets to 240 for the next year. Okay, we're going to talk about floating holidays. Now, floating holiday can be used as like a day of vacation. It has to be used in a full day increment. We do have some confusion on that part, where vacation can be taken an hour at a time if you need to. A floating holiday has to be used all at once. Employees receive 3 floating holidays after 1 full year of full-time employment. So everybody's are going to be a little different unless you're hired on the exact same day as somebody else. So you go by your anniversary date, and you have 3 to use before that anniversary date rolls around the next year. Floating holidays must be used or you lose them. They do not carry over. That's something that people sometimes forget, and they'll want to use them after the fact. And unfortunately, we don't make any exceptions. If you're off by a day, it would be no different than somebody else being off by a week or a month. We can't make exceptions. Everybody does get them, but they go by anniversary date. Those are not on our portal anywhere. We have to keep them in a book because they're all separate. So you just call me, email me, and we will get you the information on how many you have left. Jury duty. We do pay for jury duty. You don't lose your pay, and you don't have to use vacation time as long as you bring us proof from the court. All the courts in all the different states, they will supply you with this. They will have a form, and they'll stamp it, they'll sign it, they'll say you were here. Some of them get down to where they put 4 hours, or they put 8 a.m. to 12. Some of them say you were there for the day. But we do need this document from the court. That way you don't have to use your vacation time. We want to keep your pay intact if you have to go to jury duty. Okay, now we're going to talk about bereavement and compassion leave. We have a place on our salary and faculty sheet to go ahead and list the days you have for bereavement, but you have to attach the compassion form also. That can be found under payroll forms on our website. The form has to be filled out, signed by the supervisor, and then it's sent to Donna Brown to approve. Our policy number is 9314 that talks about our paid time off for funerals. What I want to bring to everybody's attention is compassionate as we are, and we want everybody to have the time they need. We do have to limit it. Examples of family members covered under this act are going to be spouse, child, parent, grandparent, brother, sister, or in-laws. Now, we do have a note in there that other family members may be considered immediate in the interpretation of this policy at the discretion of the employee's immediate supervisor, because we do know that not everybody is raised by their parents. In some situations, an aunt and uncle could be who raised you, and we understand that, and so there is a little leeway in our policy for those instances. And the supervisor, if this is your situation and you have a bereavement leave coming, you just need to talk to them about that, because we are flexible to where we know that not every situation is the same. So as with all our policies, don't be afraid to talk to any of us in HR. Don't be afraid to talk to your supervisor. We do try to be as compassionate as we possibly can, but we do have to also have policies to follow.
That's good. Hey, Mary, just real quick question here. Would we need to ask you for our supervised employees to know their floating holiday totals before we grant them time off?
Yes, and all you have to do is call me, or you can email me. I do have supervisors that once a quarter, they email me their list of the people they supervise and say, hey, I think this is what they have. John Smith has 2, Jane Doe has 3. Can you help me out? And I'll be glad to fill that list in and say this is their date they start, or they have 2 available to use before October 1st, or they've used theirs, they don't have them again to start until October 1st. But yes, you do have to call us, because since everybody's are different, we have not found a way to be able to put them on a page for supervisors or for the individual employee.
Gotcha. Okay, but just to clarify, those totals are tracked by you, and quick phone call would be all would need to take place there.
That's correct.
Great, thanks. Hopefully that answered your question. Again, let us know if you have a follow-up. Okay, Mary, thanks.
Okay, now we're going to talk about holidays. Everybody loves holidays. We have some that are a given. Every year, ATSU gives the following holidays for all our employees. They are paid as long as you're full-time benefit eligible. We have New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, the Friday after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve Day, Christmas Day, and then we have our winter break days. We do have some areas where you may be required to work even though we're technically on a holiday. Hourly employees that are required to work during a holiday observed by the university will be paid double time for any hours worked. Now, we have a little confusion here, so I did make an example on this. For example, if you work 8 hours, you would still get your 8 hours holiday pay plus your 8 hours of regular pay for that day. That makes the double time. So you're not getting holiday time and double time. You're getting paid for all hours worked plus your regular holiday. If you only worked 4 hours, you'd get 4 hours regular, plus you'd still get your 8 hours holiday. So that is a little different for hourly people, because we do have some areas where unfortunately not everybody gets winter break, or not everybody gets even Independence Day if they're in a certain area. One other big thing in holidays is you must be in a paid status the day before a holiday to receive that holiday pay. It can be time off as long as it's paid, so you can use a vacation day before a holiday. That's not a problem, as long as you have the hours to be paid for. You can use a medical day. You can use a floating holiday. But if you don't have the time off and you're just wanting to extend a holiday, say winter break, if you've not been here 90 days, you don't have any available time. If you've just used all your time and you're going to be in an unpaid status, you're going to lose that holiday pay. So it's important that supervisors do check, especially around a holiday, to make sure their employees know where they're at, because it can be a big hit on your check, especially for somebody at winter break, because we have several days in a row where you have just paid time for holidays, and if you don't receive that, you could have a very short check. One thing supervisors need to be is consistent and fair. I don't think any of us would ever intentionally not be, but it's something that you have to be really conscious of when people are asking for time off. That you're consistent with all your employees and that you're fair to the employees, not just the ones taking the time off, but to make sure there is coverage, that you're not scheduling everybody off to where it's impossible for the person that's left to do all the work that's needing to be done. So you need to think about the coverage in your area. You need to think about how you schedule it. Just try to be fair. Use the policies and the handbook for guidance. The handbook covers absences, tardiness, and unscheduled absences. That's something that policies don't drill down to, but that's because we have the handbook. We use those together. The handbook's labeled very well. It has the sections. You can usually find exactly what you're needing. So please use the policies and the handbook. If you need clarification, never hesitate to call. You can call me. You can call Donna Brown. You can call Tanya Fitch. You can call any of the HR members, and then we'll get you to the right place, whoever needs to talk to you. If it's an FMLA question, most of those are going to be handled only by Donna Brown and Tanya Fitch, just because the confidentiality, the paperwork that's needed. If it's on your hours, that's something I can tell you. I'll answer what I can, but sometimes I do have to refer to Donna or Tanya because I want to make sure you get the best answer. Okay, that's what I have for you today. I'll take any questions you have. And I hope this has helped. I hope it's been informative. And do we have any questions, Joe?
Well, we're not going to wait around too long. If you have a question, oh, there was the applause. Did you hear that?
I did.
It's that must have been for me. If you have any questions, now's the time to submit them. We will wait the duration of how long it takes me to wrap up, and if a question comes in, we'll go ahead and address that now. Otherwise, Mary, thank you very much for your time. You're a wealth of information. And for those of you that took the time to spend with us, we appreciate that. Okay, here's a question. Is there a policy, Mary? By the way, your camera's got about half of your head at the moment. There you are. Okay, here we go. Is there a policy regarding salary employees working weekend days? Basically, is there comp time offered for working a weekend day?
No, we do not have comp time. And the policy, I believe it's in the 90-307. Um, I'm looking at it really quickly here. But ATSU does not have a comp time policy. Unfortunately, you know, as a salary employee going in, you're generally scheduled 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Those are the hours you're going to normally work, but there's going to be times when you may work a Saturday or you may work a Sunday. You may work a Tuesday night just because things have to be done. Mm-hmm. But we do not have a comp time policy.
Excellent. Okay, so I think that does answer that question. Thank you, Mary. Any others about any topic we covered today, or you know, personal questions for Mary about things she likes or places she goes on the weekend? Well, good. Okay, again, the duration of the time I take to finish up, if you've got that question, submit it. Otherwise, Mary, thank you for your time. Thank you to all of you who took the time to spend with us. Again, this is information that sometimes isn't the most exciting or thrilling, but it is incredibly important as we carry out and discharge our duties as supervisors to make sure that we appropriately use the generous benefits that ATSU offers us. Mary did mention, and I will reiterate, that she is always available. Her number, her extension is 2791. Feel free to give her or anyone in Human Resources a call if you have questions regarding these specific policies or anything else that has to do with managing and supervising your people. This is the Supervisory Experience. We're going to continue to do these once a month. This video will be posted on the Supervisory Experience page. I think that's within Blackboard or Google+, I can't remember, but it will be available and the link will be sent out. So if you want to refer your colleagues to this, or if you need to go back and review some information, that will be available to you as well. Our question board is clear, Mary, so we're going to wrap up. Again, thanks for your time. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, and we will see you again next month.